I will say I give kudos to Mistress of Evil because I think it's one of the most original, weird, crazy of these live action remakes. Like, it is a very strange film
It
overall. When you
is.
just kind of look at it, you're just like, this is a weird movie. But I appreciate that they went there and they made it so weird and they went kind of crazy with it. Some of it doesn't work, but I definitely appreciate the swing they went for.
Mistress, I have a little bit of news.
Don't ruin my morning.
Hey everyone, it's Jonathan. Welcome back to Every Version Ever and the Disney Movie Marathon. Today we're following up our Maleficent episode and we're talking about Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I'm joined once more by Larry of Chili Boy Productions and Nicki of Trivial Theater, and I think we got all the necessary introductions out of the way in the first episode, so we can probably jump right in and talk about this bizarre, probably unnecessary, yet still fun sequel, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. So for Maleficent 2,
Electric Boogaloo?
sure. I still have never seen whatever that title is referencing.
We'll have to change that at some point.
So for Maleficent Mistress of Evil, I went into this one thinking that I liked it more than the original. Like it for both of them, it had been probably since the theater, since I saw these. Like I liked them, but not enough to buy the DVDs or rewatch them without a reason. So it probably had been since I had seen them in the theater until I decided to rewatch them. And like from my memory, I was thinking, for whatever reason, I was thinking the second one was better than the first one. I think I've flipped now. Like, not that this one is a bad movie. Like, I like this one maybe a little bit less than the original, but like going into this, I was thinking, oh yeah, this one's going to be better. And then we started getting into like all the weird fairy gremlin things and this dumb Pinto character that was like some sort of a weird Barbie movie side character. And I was like, oh no, have I misremembered this thing? But then it did get a lot better because like the whole dinner scene, the confrontation between the two queens, I I started remembering why I had liked the movie. But yeah, the beginning of this, it just felt well, even Maleficent herself almost kind of felt like a different character until you start getting into more of the story because it seemed almost like a weird bizarre 180 from where we last left her because she's like mad that Aurora's being proposed to and she doesn't want to go meet the parents or whatever. It almost seemed out of character for her. But then you start finding out about the parents, which apparently Maleficent knew more than we did with these people.
Again, you could just always assume royalty is
Yes.
not to be trusted.
And this one, I thought it was interesting. Like the king and queen in this are basically new characters. Like Prince Philip had a father in the original Sleeping Beauty, but King Hubert is not the same character as this king. What was his name? I'm not even sure I remember. He had such a small role in this
John?
because he fell asleep for most of
John.
it. Was it King John?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not the same character because King Hubert is like a jolly, funny guy who he was kind of annoying to me in the original a bit, but like he's fine. This is not the same character. So it didn't have the same issue that I think that other people had in the original with King Stefan, if anyone thought that he was being character assassinated or whatever.
Imagine
Yeah.
that, caring so much about King Stefan to call it an assassination of
I don't
characters.
even
Crazy
remember
work.
I don't even remember who was so upset, but I remember reading people online talking about King Stefan being done dirty or something like that.
Well, there are so many like smaller characters that get that same thing, you know? I think people see themselves in a certain like side character and then
Yeah.
becomes like their character, you know?
Mm.
This one was another one I thought was advertised really well. I don't know if you all loved the trailers. I loved the trailers for this movie. I thought it looked a lot of fun again. And it kind of, I kind of had the same issue that I had with the first one. But this one wasn't that they kept her evil too little because obviously I had watched the first one, so I knew she wasn't going to be evil. She would just be kind of a straight up heroic figure in this one. My main problem was it's actually something they did, I think, twice pretty close together between this and then Huntsman Winter's War, if you all remember that movie, is they set up this premise of these two queens battling it out. You know, like they set up this amazing dynamic, and you just said it. That dinner scene is the best scene in the entire film when it comes to the Maleficent Mistress of Evil.
Hmm.
And getting Michelle Pfeiffer and Angelina Jolie sparring off as like these amazing queens. Oh, that's the premise I wanted. I was like, you needed so much more of that in this movie. That was your bread and butter for this movie, is getting these two actresses together, playing these roles, sparring off against one another. And we don't get nearly enough of that. So that was kind of my main issue with the film is we strayed too far. I will say I give kudos to Mistress of Evil because I think it's one of the most kind of original, weird, crazy of these live action remakes. Like it's kind of a really strange film
It
overall. When you
is.
just kind of look at it, you're just like, this is a weird movie. And I appreciate that they went there and they made it so weird. And they were like, we have our own story to tell this time. We're not beholden to any old fairy tale. And they went kind of crazy with it. Some of it doesn't work, but I definitely appreciate the swing they went for.
Same. I I have a hard time with this one. So this was my first watch of this, and maybe like with
Oh.
and I don't remember this one at all. But I kind of fell off the Disney train for a while, and I don't know. But I'm with you, Larry. There's so much of this movie that I really appreciated. It took what could have been a very average, paint by the numbers sequel, and it really truly did do its own thing. It went in all kinds of directions. It was part like or not origin, but this is what Maleficent is. Hey, great, woohoo, we get to meet her people. It's part, meet the parents kind of style thing. It's all of these things, but then it kind of, I don't know if there were too many ideas and it spiraled off in
Yeah.
too many directions.
Hmm.
But if I had one thing with this, I feel like we lost Maleficent for a good chunk of the movie. It really did become the Michelle Pfeiffer show.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Maleficent kind of just disappeared. Like she got injured and then she's kind of
Yeah.
sidelined.
And that's just a really weird choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
she's
say,
like up in that little place with Chiwetel Ejiofor and those people. A little
yeah,
too long.
exactly. And it's like you got all this build up for all these things that she was supposed to be. And at the end of it, it was just like, oh, okay, power was inside of her the whole time. Someone just had to tell her that she had that power. There wasn't a lot of actual growth per se. Like it's not like she went through a training montage or secret. It's just kind of you are the daughter of bigger things. Go forth. Head boop Connell and go and be a phoenix and I don't know. I There was so many like cool little things that they could have done and I'm with you though. The fact that you had this fabulous like evil queen and they didn't do the whole like there could have been such a cool battle. There was so much potential here for what could have been and like they started going for it, but then it's almost like they felt maybe they were too far away from what things were. I don't know, but they lost what they had and I don't
I
know.
almost feel like this should have been a mini series and it should have not aimed for a kid audience. Because, like, I think a lot of stuff that they could have done were kind of dulled down because they wanted it to be PG again. And so much of the stuff just felt rushed. Like, as much as, like, Maleficent disappeared for a long period of time, I don't think it would have felt like that if you would have given more time with that and given more explanation to the backstory and more explanation to Michelle Pfeiffer's character and what she's doing. Because a lot of the magic stuff, like I started thinking about it, I was like, none of this makes sense. Like the curse thing with the spindle of the spinning wheel, like why is the curse still attached to the spindle of the spinning wheel and why that specific spindle? Like
Yeah.
I feel like somebody just had an idea and went with it and didn't stop to think it through very well. I felt like we needed more time, especially towards the end, because it just like things kept ramping up and going faster and faster and faster, and then suddenly it's over. Like the battle just ends. It just felt ugh, like if this was real, neither of those two sides are going to be friends in the end.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely suffers from just too many ideas being thrown
Yeah.
at. I think they wanted to do the Maleficent origin story stuff, but maybe they were struggling to find a good conflict in there. So then they were like, well, let's add the parents, the evil queen, Michelle Pfeiffer stuff in here. And then for me, that became the more interesting stuff, especially because Maleficent's gone for so long. I was like, I agreed. I was like, oh, we just didn't get enough interactions between her and this queen specifically in my book. We also focus a lot more on like Prince Philip in this movie because, like we talked about, he was like absent in that first movie. He was hardly there. They recast him as Harris Dickinson, and he showed up a heck of a lot more this time. But he wasn't necessarily a more interesting character.
He really
He's just kind of
wasn't.
there.
Mhm.
You're like, okay, you're taking up more screen time, but you're not like interesting.
He had the same depth as he did in the original cartoon.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then Aurora's uh, her development in this film, I think, could have been more interesting as well because it is a good idea, because you have that conflict between her and Maleficent in this film, that she kind of has to overcome herself. But again, it's not given quite the depth you would like it to be given for it to really hit home.
Hmm.
Her kind of like turning on Maleficent, almost like that internal struggle she's having between Maleficent and her new life and what she's thinking Maleficent's doing, but also her suspicions of the new family, the whole thing. But it's not given the depth that it's needed, I'd say.
Yeah. Even if this wasn't a miniseries, like a two-parter, like two movies, there's so many ideas in here to fully realize them. I think it would have taken at least two movies. Because, like, I like most of the ideas that they introduce. I don't really like the hedgehog fairy thing and her backstory and like falling in love with the mushroom man in captivity, whatever. Like that felt like a
Is that
Barbie
what was
movie
going
side
on there?
plot. I think
Like,
so. Like they don't
Yeah,
even
that
speak
was.
English, so it's hard to tell. I'm just trying to pick up from body language. Like they weren't horrible characters, but they were just like borderline annoying. They felt like it reminded me of that thing in that one Barbie movie. Well, I think it's in more than one. The little blue thing. I don't know if you guys have seen any Barbie movies. I've seen a couple for the podcast. Bibble. It made noises and just kind of flew around and did stuff. It was just kind of annoying, but like the kids who grew up with those movies loved that character. That felt like they were trying to make a Bibble with this Pinto thing.
maybe they were trying to pull the oh, what was the character in Thundercats? Was it Snark?
Oh, Snark.
Snarf? Yeah, Snarf.
Snarf.
Yeah, that was that
Yeah.
that is that generation's Snarf.
Yeah, probably. But like I think that's like the only side plot that I really didn't like because all the other ones had potential to be better than they were. Like I love the idea of Maleficent being this majestic phoenix fairy race thing that we get some more of that backstory. Like I love that image, like all of these creatures that are like angels, but they have horns and like spiky things on their wings. That just is such a cool creature idea. And I love that. But I kind of wanted more with them and not just battling. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like that needed more fleshing out. And then the whole queen thing. Like we get the line about like so and so and her family was killed by creatures in the forest and that's why she wants to kill everybody. But like I don't know. She just seemed to ramp up the evil just for evil's sake.
Well, it's like it had been festering for ages and ages and ages, and it just
Hmm.
started coming out when she had the chance. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, relate it to, certain policies and people today, if you really wanted to go down that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's every single thing that's ever been slighted against her, she blames on this one event, and it ramps everything up. It drives her to all of the evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if it had been given more time, we could have made those type of comparisons hit, as
Hmm.
whereas now it kind of just is, we can put that in ourselves, or like maybe it's slightly hinted at, but it's not given what it needs.
Yeah.
I will say that for being a PG movie, more so than the original, this was an I'm torn on this because I appreciated the darkness, but I didn't care enough about the characters that they were doing stuff to go, "Oh
Yes.
dear God. Ah, no, not that character.
Are you
I
talking about the
love
gas
that
chamber
tree.
scene?
Yeah, I love
Oh
that
my
tree.
gosh.
Like
He
I
was my
I was torn
favorite."
on that scene because it was like I like what they're going for, and like this could have been like a really heart-wrenching, dark, horrible, awful scene. But I did not care about these characters. Like the closest I got to caring about anybody was slightly redeeming Flittle's character by having her sacrifice herself. It's like, okay, somebody did something useful, and sadly now she's dead. I guess maybe she's not dead though. Like the thing at the end with the flower did something, and maybe that was her. I don't know.
Oh,
But
it was the
like,
tomb flowers. They were like when the fairies die, they bury them, and then their energy and magic come up through the flowers.
but this one was blue and it did something, and they
Well,
talked
but
to
she
it
was
like
a
it might have still been her.
yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I
I
just
don't know
assumed
what
that
they were going for. Like I said, most of the magic stuff didn't make enough sense because they didn't really explain it well enough.
I just assumed that she was a fairy, and fairies are a little bit more. I don't know, the power, the strength that they have and the power that they have maybe translates more through where there is some sentience.
I don't know. Either way, the whole scene, like I liked what they were going for, but I didn't care enough. Like it is super. Like if you think about what's going on, this is one of the darkest scenes they've ever done. It's basically a gas chamber. They've collected all of these creatures in here, and they're gonna kill them all with this powder stuff, and they can't escape. And then one has to literally sacrifice their own life to save some of them because half of them are already dead. Like this is super dark,
Yeah.
but I don't really care about anybody. Like I don't like those little pig frog things. Like the trees are fine, but I don't care about them.
Yeah.
The fairies, like I like the designs of the little plant people, but like I don't care about them as characters. So like they could have made it hit harder if you had characters you actually liked. The closest they got, I think, was the fact that they included the three fairies. But even then, I found them so annoying that it didn't really bother me that one of them died. I kind of liked that she sacrificed herself. It elevated her above the other two. The
Yeah.
other two are still there to be annoying, but I
And
don't know.
you
It's
really don't get any time with them either. Like there's
yeah.
no, okay, it's that thing I remember from that one movie that's slightly better. But that was really all that you got with those three characters.
Yeah, they don't have much in this movie. Like all you're relying on is the memories from the first one, and in the first one, they were so annoying. I didn't like them.
Right. The one other thing that got me about the woodland creatures was the fact that you had the pig, frog, toad things, you had the fairies, you had the big tree guys, but there was a lot less diversity of animals in this.
Yeah, I noticed there was things that like the Queen decreed that everyone should come, but like there was a lot of people in the first movie that we don't see again. Like the warriors riding on the warthog things. You don't see any of those. Like I'm assuming that the underground snake serpent monster skeleton tree thing has some kind of sentience. Why didn't it go to the wedding? There's so
Water.
many
Yeah.
creatures we saw in the first one that aren't in this one. So, I don't know.
I will say one thing I loved about this movie was the costume design.
Oh,
Hmm.
fantastic.
The costumes in this, I mean, they were so good. So I was like, okay, the costume department showed up. I mean, really, that's one thing by and large. Beauty and the Beast, please step out of line because you're not included. Everybody else, by and large, you can count on the Disney live actions to have great production design and good costuming at the least. But for me, this Maleficent 2, oh, I loved the costume work they did in this film. Like every single thing Michelle Pfeiffer wore in this movie was amazing. It was so good. I loved Angelina Jolie, particularly when she comes back. So with like that new black when she comes down for the
Yeah.
war.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So I was just like, oh, and the production design itself is also fantastic in this, as I think it was in the first one. I think the production was really good, but oh, the costumes, chef's kiss, amazing.
And I don't know if it counts as costumes, but like the different races of the Dark Fae, I loved how different all the different types of them
Oh
were,
yeah.
like different birds. Well, my favorite is the parrots. The ones that are based on parrots, like that is an awesome idea. I wanted more
Yeah.
parrot people.
They were fun. They were really fun. They were the ones that kind of had the black and white spotted ones, like they were almost like a barn owl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many cool designs with Maleficent's people. Like we did get a lot of them, but I still wanted more.
Well, after that battle, you were gonna get less, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
Also, the way that they played the like some of the things like the bombs and the iron powder mixed with the tomb bloom pollen or whatever it was. That was, I mean, it was a great idea and it really struck home like this terrible thing that you're literally robbing their dead to kill more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here that's very dark. When you like actually step back and like
Yes.
look at what they did, and the ideas they put on screen, you're like, wow, they had whoever was in that writer's room. I mean, they had to soften it a lot to make
Oh,
it back to
definitely.
PG because on paper, this is some real like Game of Thrones level dark-ish.
Yes, definitely. More dark than you would expect. Like I said, there were multiple times I was like, this is PG, but like you said, they're softening it somehow. They're cutting around like killing blows. Like when the bombs explode, they turn into dust. There's no gory explosions of the bird people. So they make it palatable enough. But like if you stop and think about it, this is so dark.
But yeah, where do we go from here for a third one if they do go through with it?
That is a good question.
I want more bird people. I want like there needs to be like a flamingo species. There could be a small hummingbird species. I
The
like
dark fae, just
creatures.
all the birds. All the birds are the dark fae.
Yes.
It could turn into Birdemic.
Dude, they're really gonna have to. Well, I guess I don't know how different Elle Fanning and Harris Dickinson look, or they could just re. That would be really funny if
If
they
they recast him
recast the
again.
prince again. Prince Philip is another new actor for the third film. That would actually be pretty great. So, but I'm like, yeah,
You
they
could go
definitely
the
gonna have to
Shrek
age him
route.
up.
You could go the Shrek route and just have him turn into a frog.
You know, that also very much could work. And suddenly Tiana comes out. That's how they give us a live action Tiana. She she shows up to kiss the frog,
But it's somebody else's prince.
but it's somebody else's brain. That's our conflict for Maleficent 3. Elle Fanning's Aurora versus Tiana for Prince Philip the Frog.
I mean, genuinely though, I think you would almost have to take, I mean, it's been 6 years since the last one came out. I almost think you'd have to make it Aurora's child at this point. Like,
There was a line at the end, like Maleficent said she'd be back for the christening. Like it was a wink and a nod to the original story, but like you could do something with them having a baby.
Yeah.
Maleficent shows up as Flittle or Flitter.
Something happens and Maleficent decides to curse Aurora's child.
Yeah.
This time it actually is. Aurora doesn't invite her to the christening, and now we know why she took it so personal for this one. That invitation lost in the mail was real personal. Oh, Disney, we're right here. Hire us. We're ready for the writers' room. Honestly, we're ready.
What did you guys think of the end of the movie? Like the climax with the queen and the way that they decide to take care of her.
I read a lot of reviews online that were quite upset with the fact that, she does basically a genocide and then she gets turned into a goat.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm trying to think what that was based off of. It was like, oh, I think one of the suggestions was it was an ode to Stardust, because Michelle Pfeiffer's character turns into a goat there as well. But it's like that seems like such an odd thing to pull from specifically.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird. Because again, we're not as scared to, push people off of buildings or whatever in Disney movies to just kill
Hmm.
them in a way that's palatable. So, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe they were trying to be a more karma-based one that she's turned in. I mean, she's not really turned into a fairy, but she's turned into kind of a woodland creature type of
Yeah.
thing. The thing she's fought so hard and hated so much, is what she becomes. I don't know. I mean, it was a choice. Again, this movie is just so kind of bonkers in so many ways that you're just like, they went for that. Okay, that's an interesting choice. So I'll say that. Most of the choices they make in this movie are interesting, and then that's one of them for me.
Making Maleficent into a phoenix. That I never saw coming.
Me neither.
I,
I
I will
wasn't. I
say though,
wasn't
once they
prepared.
mention the phoenix, like then
Yes.
it's like, okay, well, I can see where this is gonna end. She's gonna die and she's gonna come back.
Right. I mean, they
Yeah.
genuinely kind of outrightly say it there when they talk about how she's the last descendant of
Uh-huh.
that great
Yeah.
phoenix.
But like before this movie, it would never have crossed my mind that
Oh no.
Maleficent is related to a phoenix. It kind of makes sense with the wings and everything, but like that would never cross my mind.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah,
I
I didn't
like
mind it.
the big phoenix that she turns into at the end. But like with the queen, I like not that I want her to like eat the queen, but I wanted the phoenix to do something to the queen. I wanted the queen dead.
Yeah. I could almost
Yeah.
see in this, the more joking than anything, but if they would have turned her into a fairy and stuck her with our other two fairies.
Okay,
She's
that
our new
actually
third fairy.
could be a funny end that I might like if she's cursed to be a fairy, an annoying fairy. I might like
With
that
no
better than the
powers.
goat.
With
Yeah.
no magical powers. She's
Or
just a fairy that has to live with them and doesn't actually get the coolness of being a fairy.
exactly. Maybe she can fly, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You can fly. And then that would secure Michelle Pfeiffer for the third one, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they technically could still use her because she's a goat. Like they purposely didn't kill her, so maybe they are planning on having her come back for revenge.
Okay, though. Have you watched Poor Things?
No, that's the Frankenstein one, right? That was
Yeah,
like
with
one that
Emma.
I wanted to see, but I haven't.
It's
Did
on
you
my
see it,
list.
Triv?
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Well, sorry for a slight spoiler. At the end of that movie, one of the characters is literally turned into kind of a goat, but it's like a brainless goat human hybrid. So it's like still the human part, but also goat in the yard. If we just had turned Michelle Pfeiffer into like this weird, it's a weird like hybrid creature, and that's how she comes back with the sequel. Have Michelle Pfeiffer's like upper body with like these goat hooves and tail for the back.
Oh God.
But
Like a satyr.
yeah. But she's also kind of brainless, so she just still eats grass and baths. Yeah. But
That's probably a little too disturbing for a PG rated movie,
yeah,
but
I
she
mean,
deserves
again,
something worse than just being a
Poor
goat.
Things is a rated hard R rated, so you have a point there. But I do agree with that. She was pretty much a genocidal maniac that
Uh-huh.
committed mass murder right before our eyes. You kind of want a villain of that scale to get their come up. It would have been like in the first film, we just put the king in jail and he
Yeah.
still gets to live after
It's
everything he did
Batman,
in that movie.
basically.
Like as
Yeah.
crazy as the king was, he didn't like genocide anybody. He might have tried if he'd been given enough time and power, but he didn't on screen, but he was still killed. So it just feels weird that she actually started a genocide and then, okay, now you're a goat. Tee-hee, it's funny.
You know what they could do with the third one that would be really dark, but again, skirt around all that stuff, is if they have a giant banquet and one of the things that's set down on the table is a stuffed goat.
Oh my God. That's the opening scene, just is
Yep,
a banquet and we're eating a goat.
yep. And it's got like a similar collar.
They wanted to be real dark.
That
Show
sounds like a good
Prince Philip
parody of
eating the
this.
goat.
Yeah, I don't think Disney would do that, but like I could see a darker studio doing something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, it's such a
The
small
people,
moment, you know.
the people who are making the Winnie the Pooh movies.
Oh
Oh,
God,
yeah,
yeah,
they
without
they would do that.
they would do that and more. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. The end of this movie, I mean, obviously there's ways you could go, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about a Maleficent 3 at this point.
it feels like it's like with all these other movies that, and not to say that it's, 30 years since we've had a Maleficent movie, but it's been such a long time. I don't know how you it doesn't feel like it's this, I mean, honestly, the second one wasn't specifically needed. Although again, kudos to them for thinking outside the box and taking it where generally where they took it. But
Mhm.
I don't the story was told. I don't think no one is going to see this as anything but a cash grab. And not to say that a lot of them aren't, but the fact that they got away with the second one is actually pretty good. I
Yeah,
mean, it
it
kind of falls
is.
into that same camp as like some kind of Cruella too. There's no logistical way to do it without it being really weird and possibly problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this one is much better than Alice Through the Looking Glass. The other
Amen to that.
live action sequel they did, that was atrocious. Um, where they pretty much couldn't figure out, so they like started this whole war over tarts. It's just ridiculous. That's why the evil queen turned like evil over a tart.
You know what? If it's
Um,
a good enough tart, I will go to war for that.
she's like, I'll be the evil red queen, actually. So this is much better, and I appreciated the direction they went with it. Uh, it's just like we've been saying, it's really hard to just objectively look at this film because it's so all over the place, so weird. There's so
Hmm.
much good, but so much underdeveloped. It's messy, but I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's a really weird movie to talk about, to watch all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, it has it's a movie that you don't mind going back and rewatching because there's a lot of interesting parts. There is discussions to be had on the nature of a lot of the things that go on here. But yeah, it's one of those where it's kind of all over the map and yeah. What else do you say?
Well, one last thing that I wanted to make sure to mention was like I've already talked about how weird all the magic stuff is, but like they specifically went back to the cursed spindle. Like I don't really know how that makes sense within this world because her curse was on Aurora, but the curse manifested itself through like rebuilding one of the Burt spindles, so I guess that's how they're thinking about this. But then at the end, the way they save the king is by having her destroy the spindle. But like if you think about it, why wouldn't that have worked in the first one? Because like they act like there's no way to solve this problem. I feel like making it go back to the cursed spindle just opens up a whole weird idea. But the thing that I thought of is like they could have tied this back to the first one and made it make perfect sense if they would have had Prince Philip give his father a kiss on the forehead, like Maleficent kissed Aurora.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
It would
That
have
would have been
made like
great.
I thought that's where it was going. Like that's literally through the whole thing. I was like, okay, well he's gonna have to kiss his father, and then it'll wake him up since it's the same cursed spindle. But then she just destroys the spindle and he wakes up. And I was like, what? It just felt like such a weird. I don't know if missed opportunity is the right word, but it just felt like they were going somewhere and then they didn't, and then they did something that kind of made the first movie seem odd with the way that they solved the curse.
Well, John, it's simple. We can accept non-romantic female kissing. If we have male to male kiss of any kind, it's suddenly woke, it's suddenly gay, it's not accepted for a son to, even on the forehead, kiss his father to bring him back to life. So that is why we could not do that in this Disney film.
I guess so, but like, I don't know.
What
I
about
feel
a
like it just makes so
handshake?
much sense that they should have just done it.
Family handshake.
He shakes his father's hand and he comes back to life.
True love's handshake.
Yes, all sense be damned. We don't show the platonic male affection, John. Come on now.
I
I mean,
kind
we
of
could
wonder to
do.
myself if that's why they didn't do it, because it feels like the natural conclusion of that story. And I don't know if, like, I have no idea if that's just something that I thought of or if they had that, were thinking that, and then they chickened out. Because, like, I felt like that's where it was going, and then they didn't. So I was like, were they planning on it? And then they didn't? I don't know. And I did wonder if they did it because they didn't want complaints about that. But, like, the complaints would just be dumb. It's the father and son. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's one of the many things about the magic in this movie that didn't make sense. Like, as much as I can forgive fairy tale magic, whatever, like, at some point I question things.
What? Questions?
I don't know how you could possibly question any of that.
Right? I think that's also just kind of a problem of needing to tie it back. They kind of wrote themselves into their own problem by needing to tie it back into the problem in the first movie.
Hmm.
I don't know, trying to connect it in a way, and give someone the familiarity of that original plot line, and then you write yourself into like weird situations where you're like, well, how the hell did we get out of this?
Yeah. Well, when she first stabbed him, I thought it was the little troll guy, Warwick Davis' character. I don't remember his name. I thought it was him making a potion and she just kind of injected him with something. I didn't realize at first that it was the spindle until it was said later. And then I was like, oh, okay, they're going to do the true love's kiss thing. Because, like we've said before, Prince Philip didn't get a whole lot of character development. I feel like that would have given him and his father a really nice moment.
Yeah, it would have.
But then we just burn up the spindle and it's
And
solved
you
now.
give and you give Prince Philip kind of the moment from the original film,
Yeah,
the true
that
love's kiss
too.
Yeah.
just to save someone, which he doesn't have anymore because it didn't make sense in this story for him to be the one in the Maleficent film. You
Yeah,
then give him that opportunity to have the moment where he saves someone with a true love's kiss, but again, no.
yeah. Just an odd choice in a movie full of odd choices.
That's a very good way to state it.
Yes. Really the sum of Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like a fully bad film. There's so much in this that I do like watching. Like I did not feel bored watching this at all. So it's just it could have been so much more than it was.
Yes.
I don't know what you guys think about this, but I just thought of it looking at the way that King John is taken out by the, and we don't really see what it is, and then it's later said that it's the spindle. Do you think that was put in because some studio exec was like, "Oh, this is too far away from the original. We need to pull it back in," or something like that?
I think very well it could have been.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
don't
said,
know.
I think it maybe, yeah, a studio exec was like, we need more ties to that first film. Like we're getting too far away, and they retroactively did it because we know Disney is not above that by
No.
any means.
Yeah, the whole tying it back to the spindle thing. Like I guess I can see why they want to do it because this is technically the Sleeping Beauty story, but I the way they were setting up Warwick Davis's character, I really thought he was making like poisons and stuff, and I thought she was using stuff that he was making for her to poison the king. I feel like that makes more sense than making it a magical curse from the spindle that cursed Aurora.
But nostalgia and kind of hitting those nostalgia buttons are
Yeah.
more important than sense, John.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're in the exec room, you know this.
Yes, yes.
Thank God we're not.
Uh, I don't know what part of me wants to be so I could help improve them, but I don't know. Maybe they would take me down with them.
They would
Yeah,
make
you'd
you a
get.
cynical, terrible person, I think.
I think they'll brainwash you upon entrance. They
Yeah.
have they have some kind of injection of their own, to that you must sign your sense away, for a cash grab when you enter the room.
They have special Disney ear or Mickey ears.
Mickey ears.
I forgot to mention it too. Not that it's the same thing, but like thinking of people who are doing doing someone else's evil bidding. Not that she was brainwashed, but what was up with her minion lady, Michelle Pfeiffer's character? I don't remember the actress's name, but she was like psychotic.
I think she just really enjoyed like pleasing the queen. Take that how you will.
Oh, why?
Her whole thing, like playing the evil pipe organ, I was like, this is so over the top.
I mean, if you're gonna do a genocide, you might as well have some good like evil organ music.
Sure.
And I can always appreciate Disney deciding to just give us straight up evil. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
give us over the top evil every now and again.
yeah. Well, I think that is probably all we have to say about Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I think at some point we will be back for another episode. We are eventually going to be talking about Cruella as well. I almost said Cruella 2, but that's not out yet.
Not yet.
Nope.
Someday we will, I guess, supposedly be talking about Cruella too. But
Oh, we can
Depending
only
on if
go
it ends
faster.
up getting canceled, like so many things these days.
Well, I mean, if you could say one thing about D23, it's essentially that, 90% of what comes out will either change and or go away entirely.
At this point, yeah, kinda.
yes, we'll be back for our other female villain who initially was thought to be unredeemable, that they found ways to make the hero.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, well, until the day in the future that we come back for Cruella, do you guys want to let people know where they can find you if they'd like more of you? Nikki?
You can find me here on YouTube at Trivial Theater. I do a wide array of random, obscure, and straight up bad movies, and I try to keep the lineup pretty fresh, so stop by.
And Larry?
You can also find me on YouTube as well as Blue Sky and Instagram, all at Chili Boy Productions.
Okay, well, we will see you in the future for another episode. Thanks for listening to Every Version Ever. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. My link tree and all of our links will be in the description below. If you want more of my content, all my podcasts are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you enjoyed this show, check out one of the other podcasts or check out my Patreon for bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.